Welcome! Today's report begins with a focused analysis of a direct-fire encounter. We observe an opposing serviceman who has taken a tactical prone position behind cover and is delivering sustained small arms fire. This immediately places him in the category of a priority target with an elevated threat level. The drone operator then begins the task of neutralizing this active firing position. We begin today's series with an episode in which Ukrainian pilots identified Russian soldiers who, after hearing the sound of an FPV drone, took cover inside a house. Within minutes, a strike drone approached and entered the structure, causing the building's walls to collapse from the resulting impact. Here are images from another drone that also approached the same house to deliver a follow-up strike. And this is all that remains, only ruins where civilians once lived. Ukrainian troops were compelled to eliminate the position to prevent further enemy advances. In this case, another Russian soldier was returning from an unsuccessful assault. After detecting him with a drone, the pilots immediately launched a strike drone. We then see the soldier apparently speaking on the phone, but his conversation is cut short by the sound of the approaching FPV drone. He begins moving quickly toward the nearest bushes, hoping to take cover. Along a dirt road in the Zaporizhia direction, a lone Russian soldier was spotted by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone. The moment he realized he was being monitored, he started running. But the drone never lost visual contact. Every step was tracked, every movement observed. Searching desperately for cover, the soldier dove into a nearby bush, believing he had escaped the drone site. But it was only a matter of time. A separate FPV drone soon arrived, scanning the area with steady precision. It hovered briefly, circled the bush once, then fixed its focus. The drone closed in slowly, as if assessing the optimal approach, and then, without hesitation, descended directly into the foliage. The screen shook upon impact, a silent conclusion delivered from above. In the Pokrovsk direction, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone identified a lone Russian soldier moving across a grassy field. A Ukrainian FPV drone approached quickly and quietly. Noticing the threat, the soldier raised his weapon and fired as the drone circled overhead. In a moment of panic, he attempted to flee, but the FPV drone closed in and made a precise impact. This tense episode highlights how unmanned systems increasingly shape modern warfare. In the Kostanka direction of Donetsk Oblast, a civilian vehicle carrying 2 Ukrainian soldiers became stuck in a deep muddy puddle. Rain poured down as they struggled through heavy mud, surrounded by water and saturated terrain. The scene reflected the harsh reality of frontline movement, where even the environment becomes an obstacle in the fight for survival. Helmet camera footage from the Pokrovsk direction captures a tense close-quarters encounter deep inside a forested trench line. Ukraine's special forces move quietly through the trees, then descend into a network of trenches previously held by Russian troops. The moment they enter, the silence ends. A brief burst of small arms fire echoes through the forest, contact in the tight, narrow trench. Every second matters. Visibility is limited and the angles are confined. Ukrainian soldiers move together as a coordinated team, clearing corners and exchanging controlled fire at close range. The footage shows flashes from muzzles, quick movements, and steady composure under pressure. These are not random exchanges, every shot is delivered with intent. Opposing positions are pushed back one by one. Some Russian fighters withdraw deeper into the trench network, but it makes little difference. Ukrainian operators advance, clearing each section with deliberate precision. The camera records everything, dirt scattering, commands being issued, and positions being secured one after another. This isn't a battle of machines, it is person to person, at close range, in some of the harshest terrain imaginable. When the gunfire finally subsides, what remains is a cleared trench, a reclaimed stretch of ground, and clear evidence that Ukraine's special forces are not merely holding their positions, they are reclaiming them, one engagement at a time. Here, a Russian soldier is completely unaware of the approaching strike behind him. A Ukrainian fiber-optic drone moved into Russian positions in the Avka sector and identified a Russian soldier confined within a trench. Even though the soldier noticed the incoming threat, he was unable to reposition due to the narrow space he was trapped in. Moments later, the drone delivered a direct hit on his location. In the Zaporizhia direction, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone detected movement in the distance. As it approached, it identified a Russian unmanned ground vehicle. Moments later, an FPV drone engaged and successfully neutralized the robotic threat before it could advance further. A Ukrainian fiber-optic drone moved into Russian-held positions in the Avka sector and identified a Russian soldier confined within a narrow trench. Although he noticed the incoming threat, he was unable to reposition due to the cramped space. Moments later, the drone carried out a precise strike on the location. During reconnaissance in the Pokrovsk sector, a Ukrainian FPV drone detected movement in an open field and rapidly approached to verify the source. As it drew closer, the drone identified a Russian soldier with no visible weapon or military equipment. It then adjusted its course to carry out a controlled engagement on the position. A Ukrainian FPV drone operator from the Sinam battalion moved covertly through a forest in the Lyman region and identified a Russian service member resting. The service member had no opportunity to react before the drone made its impact. In the Donetsk sector, a lone Russian soldier sent toward the front line was observed by the Magyar Birds Brigade and became the focus of an FPV drone. It was evident that he was far from his own positions, moving toward Ukrainian lines. The drone was quickly deployed and closed in. At the last moment, the soldier fired at the drone, but was unable to stop it. The drone made direct contact. In the Doropilia direction, a Russian turtle-style tank was recorded moving along a dirt road at dusk. As it advanced, the vehicle triggered an anti-tank mine concealed beneath the surface, producing a sudden explosion that sent dust and debris into the air. The tank came to a halt, disabled by the blast. This incident underscores the constant hazards of mined routes in contested areas and the ongoing risks faced during armored movement. Late at night in Crimea, multiple residents captured notable footage of a Ukrainian loitering drone approaching a thermal power plant. The drone flew low and steadily, evading Russian air defenses positioned around the facility. Sirens sounded and anti-air systems engaged, but the UAV maintained its course. Moments later, it made contact, producing a burst of light that illuminated the skyline. While the full extent of the damage is unconfirmed, the event has generated widespread discussion on social media. This was more than a tactical operation, it sent a clear message about the reach and precision of unmanned systems in modern conflict. Despite heavy security, the site was not impervious to attack. Once again, it highlights how technology continues to influence the balance on the battlefield, even under the cover of darkness. In the Pokrovsk direction, two Ukrainian tanks advanced cautiously through the terrain, maneuvering toward the edge of a dense forest. The mission was straightforward but high-risk: confront and disrupt a group of Russian armored units positioned just beyond the tree line. As the Ukrainian tanks reached the forest's edge, their crews quickly gained visual contact with opposing armored vehicles across the field. Without hesitation, they opened fire. The battlefield erupted with the sound of heavy gunfire as the Ukrainian tanks launched round after round toward the Russian line. Flames and smoke rose from the impact zones as each strike targeted the opposing vehicles with precision. Russian armor responded, but the Ukrainian crews used the cover of trees and the uneven terrain to shift positions constantly, keeping the adversary uncertain. It became a contest of mobility, accuracy, and timing. Every maneuver was calculated to maintain the advantage and apply continuous pressure. The Ukrainian tank crews operated in seamless coordination, communicating clearly and adjusting their firing angles with speed and discipline. The engagement lasted several minutes, turning the open field near the forest into a zone of fire and smoke. Eventually, the sustained pressure compelled the Russian tanks to withdraw, giving Ukrainian forces control of the area. This clash at Pokrovsk demonstrated the importance of mobility and strategy in modern armored warfare, rather than reliance on sheer force alone. Success was achieved through rapid decision-making, precise fire control, and adaptability under pressure. As battles like this continue to unfold, Ukrainian forces are showing their ability to challenge and disrupt even heavily equipped opposing units.